It is the 2nd of August. This is Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst, Yeshiva Sabanavshi here in Shlaim Care Zoom. This is our second shir. We're learning Mishna Berura, Hilchos Tisha B'Av, Simin Tov Kuf Nun Aleph. Today we'll start with Sim Tes Zayin. Right. Tes Zayin. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Eliezer Tzvi, would you like to start the read today? I think you might be muted.
Yeah. Here we go. Tesan Yesh Nogim Shalo Lirchos Rosh Chodesh. Those who are noeg not to wash from Rosh Chodesh. V'yesh ein nimnan ela b'Shabbazu. There are those who only wait until Shavuos Chalbo.
Like I think refrain, meaning if they refrain from it, they refrain from washing from the only in that Shabbat, the week of Tisha B'Av.
V'yesh misanin miyud zayin Tammuz ad Tisha B'Av. And there are those who fast. Misanin, who fast.
We'll have to see what that means. All right. Let's see.
Okay. Haggah.
Actually, it's a pretty long Haggah. So let's stop here and do the Mechaber first, okay?
Okay. Peches, Shalo Yirchot, you don't wash.
Right.
Ayin Lakameh, Afilu Bitsonain, Yesh La Zahir, that even in cold water you should be careful of this. Or the refuah mutter, but if you need it for a refuah, it's mutter. Afilu B'cham, even with hot water. Afilu Shuv Chalbo Tisha B'Av, even during the week of Tisha B'Av.
So let's see. Take a look. Take a look at the chart. Seeing in Sadi Dalit.
Sadi Dalit. Ulchein Mubera Shegia Carvel. Let's say Ladeta Shetov La Lirchotz Bechamim Bechol Elu Share. So a woman who's pregnant, who's close to giving birth, and needs to have a warm bath, is allowed to do it. Because this is for refuah and not for pleasure. V'chein yoledes o mi shehaya adam chalush. Similarly, a woman who's given birth or somebody who is suffering. Lo harefuah shetzarech lirchotz b'chol yom b'chaben shari. And he says, I need to wash my health in hot water. He's allowed to do that. Milvad the Tisha B'Av atzma, except for Tisha B'Av itself. So and you have to be very careful about this.
So that's the when again the basic premise of the prohibition of washing. It should be we're prohibited from washing or bathing for pleasurable purposes. But if it's for need of health or strength or whatever it might be, then it could be, again, you have to discuss it with a rabbi who knows about these things. Yeah, it could be even in warm water, could be permissible as well. Lukewarm might be preferable, but if the hot water is necessary for the sake of the health, so then that's permissible. It's only those things which are used for pleasure, bathing for pleasure. So that's what's prohibited for us. Okay, except of course on Tisha B'Av itself. That's something.
Okay, back to the Mishna Berura. Peites mi Rosh Chodesh, im Chal Rosh Chodesh. Erev Shabbos. The Rosh Chodesh occurs at Erev Shabbos, such as this year.
Right.
Zay mutter lirchotz af kol guvi b'chamin. It's still mutter to wash on that day your whole body in hot water, even in hot water. Kol mi rochetz tamin be'erev Shabbos l'kvod Shabbos. For all those who wash usually wash Erev Shabbos, the covered Shabbos.
Right, so that takes care of probably most of us. Most of us probably take a hot shower on the covered Shabbos. So this past Erev Shabbos, it would have been mutter to take a hot shower as you normally do. Okay.
Okay. Yesh l'misanim yud zayin tammuz, those who fast from Shavas B'Tammuz, the Talmud Chacham ein kedei shinhag b'chumra zu, and the Talmud Chacham, it's not proper for him to follow this chumrah.
Lokadai. It's not lokadai. It's not worth. It's not worth doing this.
Okay.
It's not beneficial.
Shemamayit b'malachas shemayim, because you're going to diminish the work for heaven. She'efsha shelo yismayit milimudo ezer shos b'pnei hatanis, because it's impossible that he wouldn't limit his learning because of the time he spent in the fast.
Right. Yeah. So therefore, we're talking about fast, and we're obviously talking about fasting only during the daytime. Obviously, these people fast from Yud Zayin Tammuz until Tisha B'Av. They're obviously fasting only during the daytime. They're not fasting. That would probably put an end to them.
Right. B'tzorach lishkol b'moznei tzedek b'inyanim elu. And you should examine in the Moznei Tzedek these cases.
Right.
Okay.
If you balance the benefits and the losses, the pluses and minuses of what you're doing in terms of whether or not it's actually worth doing what you're doing.
Okay. Tisha B'Av until Tisha B'Av on the command siman Tavkuf Samet Beis Sif Beis B'Hagah. He's talking about fasting from Shavas B'Tammuz.
Right. Okay. Very good. So let's see the Ramona.
Okay. The Tzorach mitzvah shari, and if you do it because of a mitzvah, it's permissible. L'chein nida rochetzes v'tovelas. Therefore, a woman can wash and tov herself in the mikvah. And even if she has to tov herself the night of the 10th of Av, mutter law l'urchotz be'erev Tisha B'Av, that she can wash herself erev Tisha B'Av im efshar law l'urchotz leil asar, if it's not possible for her to wash herself on the night of the 10th. V'nira de huadin isha haloveshes lebanim, that a woman who's washing her children.
Well, haloveshes lebanim. That's an expression used when a woman is having the zayin nikiyim.
Okay.
So she's wearing levanim. She's wearing white clothes that she can see if there's any dam.
Right. Yochol lirchotz ma'at kedarka b'sharshan. She should wash. She's able to wash herself normally as she does during the rest of the year. But this is again not a washing for pleasure; it's just for need of a mitzvah. And we are practiced not to wash even in cold water from Rosh Chodesh onward. Erev Shabbos shel chazon, even Erev Shabbos parshas chazon. Also, it's also to wash ki'im rosho panav v'yadav v'raglav, other than your face, your head, your face, your hands, and your feet. It's only in cold water. V'yesh mekalim v'chafifios harosh.
That's shampooing.
Right, those are makel. You can use shampoo in your hair in hot water. Lemisha ragel b'kol kaf b'kach koshav. The make of those who do this every Shabbos.
Right. I mean, every Shabbos, that's they do it every Shabbos.
Okay. So what's the upshot of all of this?
Well, okay. Let's learn the Mr. Brewers first on the raw, then we'll discuss it in general. Okay. Hold on.
Let's see, what am I up to? Up to Tzadik Beis, Lirchotz Erev Tisha. Tzadik Beis, Lirchotz Erev Tisha B'Av, Kedarko B'Chamin.
That's the woman who has to go to the mikvah on Moitzi
Right.
Tisha B'Av, right? So
As
she
normally
can
in
take
hot water.
hot water on Erev Tisha B'Av because she has to go to the mikvah on Moitzi Tisha B'Av, and she's not going to have a chance to do that.
Right.
Because then you have to remember, in those days they didn't have hot tap water. They'd probably have to boil water, and it was a whole adventure to try and do these things. And I'm sure
Right.
it wasn't. If they probably maybe didn't even have the mikveh, and the guards at the riverbank probably wouldn't be there waiting all night for them to show up. Probably be there for a certain amount of time, and that's it. Right? They wouldn't have a chance to take a hot bath on Motzi Tisha B'Av, so they'll permit it to take the hot bath on Erev Tisha.
Chol v'chulu l'tanug, who's only not doing this for pleasure. V'chein ketanim sheyesh lahem chatmin b'rosham, and similarly for children that have something on their head. No okay l'rosos l'raksan.
That's if they have like scabs or crusting. Sometimes children, especially the young, they have scales encrusting on their scalps. Right? It's the same with an adult. Same with an adult. If an adult has scales encrusting on his scalp, so that's he's washing and shampooing for food. He's not washing for pleasure.
Okay. I feel a bit sorry even in cold water. Chaynu called gufo. This is the whole body. But just to wash the face, the hands, the feet in cold water is mutter. A few Erev Shabbos shel chazon aser, but even on Erev Shabbos and purchase do aser chaynu. A few higher ragil lirchotz b'chol Erev Shabbos b'chamin kol guf. Even if he normally washes the whole body Erev Shabbos in warm water. Aser Erev Shabbos shel chazon is us to do this Erev Shabbos chazon lirchotz kol gufo. I feel to wash the whole body even in cold water. Lenient Tevila, as far as Tevila goes, Hanoheg Litol B'chol Shabbos Mutter. If you are noeg to go to the mikveh every Shabbos, is going to be mutter. Misha Mevatla Lepamim Mipnei Tirchas Tirdas Askinin Opinei Hatsina Aser. But people who normally told themselves Erev Shabbos, but don't do it because of tirda or tircha, then it would be also to go to the mikveh Shabbos chazon, Erev Shabbos chazon.
Right.
Chafifias barosh chachamim. You can shampoo the hair in hot water. Aval lo bezayif. I guess vilug. These are other types of shampoos.
Yeah, these are
Sheosin me'efer that are made from dirt or from me'efer from dirt.
right.
Lemisa Rogavik, somebody who normally does this. The ayin, the chai adam, the hava duadin, the shari panor yad ragla b'chamin. Lemisa Rogel b'kaf call Shabbos. You wash your hands, face, and feet in hot water. Those who do it, that's what you do Erev Shabbos. Normally Erev Shabbos.
Right. Okay. So everything's clear.
No.
Okay. So what? Okay. Let's take questions. What are the questions about what and what you can't do and when?
Okay. Again, since there's been a change in teva since this was written,
Right.
people normally when they're normal to use hot water. People wash often and regularly. It's not limited to once a week as it was, at the time this was written.
Right.
How does that change the practice, or does it change the practice?
So the answer is essentially the practice doesn't really change, right? The practice doesn't change, but really the halach hasn't changed really at all either, because if a person has a need to take a shower, right? There's a need to take a shower, meaning.
So somebody's in istinus.
So that if a person's in istinus, so that is he's in a cat meeting. And what does it mean in istinus? What's your impression of what an istinus is?
Somebody who's uncomfortable when they're not clean.
Right. So a person, right? A person is incident is a person who's sensitive, right? So
Right.
a person he's sensitive. Maybe we will call him extra sensitive. Let's put it that way. He's extra sensitive, right?
Okay.
So if he and it could be physically or psychologically, as far as I understand, it doesn't have to be
Sure.
something which is clinically proven. Like he simply, he's not comfortable. He's distracted, meaning his body is
Right.
distracting him. Right? He's distracted by his body. Normally, if a person is at ease with his body feels clean. His body feels relaxed. So he's not sensitive to his body. He's concentrating on the things he has to concentrate, not on what's going on his scalp or underneath his armpits or something like that, between his toes. So he's
Right.
not thinking about those things. If a person finds he's thinking about what's going on between his toes on a regular, constant basis, so that's something which is distracting, right? So he knows by taking. So if something's distracting himself between his toes, and he can wash his feet in cold water, right? So he can wash his feet in cold water and eliminate that, right? If a person feels a little bit unclean under his armpits, if he can take a washcloth and do like people who are bedridden, so they give bed baths.
Sponge bath. Right.
Sponge bath. So if he can do it with that, he can do it with that, right? If a person needs to, his scalp is itching him, he's, whatever, his beard is itching him, so he needs the.
Very, very hard to hear you, Rabbi.
Do you hear me? Is it any better now? You hear me? No? Is it, you hearing me better?
Yeah, much better now. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So if a person feels that his beard is itching him, his scalp is itching him, and it's distracting him, so that may not even be a case of an instance. That might be like a semi-medical need, right? Person's not doesn't if a person has his skin is itching him, right? So a person, if his skin is itching him, he might go to a skin doctor and get some diagnosis, get a cream, get something to eliminate the cream. Sometimes if you use a certain shampoo, right, and that'll eliminate the itching as well. So that could be almost in the realm of refuah, in which case could actually even use warm or hot water. So there are times when a person can do these things. A person, again, if a person's sweaty, let's say he just finished playing basketball, right? Just finished playing basketball, so he's all sweaty. So he's permitted to wash off the sweat, right? Let's say a person just came back from he had to do something. He got full of dust and dirt, right? So he's permitted to wash off the dust and dirt. Now, when he's doing a shower under those conditions, what type of a shower should he take? Should he take a cold shower, a lukewarm shower? Should he take a regular hot shower? So if it's in the gather, if it's in the category of refuah that he's doing for medical reasons, so then it's permissible, as we saw in the Mishna Berura, to take even a hot shower. Okay. If it's not really for refuah, it's simply for making himself feel comfortable. So then a person should refrain from taking a real hot shower and try and take a lukewarm shower. If a person is simply doing it to remove, let's say, sweat or dirt, if it's sufficient to do it with cold water, he should be able to do it with cold water. But again, if a person's going to be distressed by taking a cold shower, I mean, I'm not sure how many. Some people are used to taking cold showers; they don't mind and they like them. Person comes in from playing basketball, he's all sweated up. Nothing better than he likes to take a cold shower. So fine, right? Some people don't like to take cold showers, so it's better to take then a lukewarm shower, right? Person should reduce the time that he spends in the shower as much as possible, right? And so even if possible, Reb Steinberg used to tell us what to do. You should really basically douse yourself with water from the shower. Turn off the water. If you need to use soap or shampoo on any of your bodies, and then you do that, and then turn the water on again and rinse it off.
Yep.
To a minimum.
So it sounds like it's not an issue of the preparation of the water in terms of, hundreds of years ago, it was a big tircha to prepare the water. Now it's nothing. it sounds like that's not really relevant. That what's relevant is just the issue of the distress to the person and whether he needs the hot water or not. Is that right?
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, in our times, we have hot and cold running water, and we take showers, at the flip of a switch. And some people take 1, 2 showers perhaps every day, and that's just the way life is, right? That's what we're used to. That's the way we grew up, and that's what we're used to. So we can obviously feel much more uncomfortable with it. Used to be in the time of the Middle Ages, they believed that taking showers was actually unhealthy. They actually believed it was unhealthy, and in fact, people didn't take a shower maybe once a year. The kings had a special day, the day of the bath. The king would have a bath once a year. Once a year, it was called the guard, and they would have the night of the bath, the day of the bath, whatever it was, and they actually held, so to speak, quote, scientifically, unquote, medically, unquote, that taking baths was dangerous to your health, right? So they were used to not taking baths and showers. We see from Chazal that was foolish, that was stupid, because we see that people, in fact, people are supposed to take showers. They're supposed to be clean. Our Jewish women are supposed to be clean. They're supposed to take care of themselves. They're supposed to be, because of Taras Mishpacha and other issues. So it depends to a part in what a person's used to and what he's comfortable with. So again, we have to realize that part of the distress that we're supposed to be experiencing during these 3 weeks, during the 9 days, that we're supposed to feel for the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, the Yerushalayim, the Golus from Eretz Yisrael, Chilul Hashem that's taking place because we're still in Golus, and that's supposed to distress us. And we're supposed to refrain from doing all these things to try and focus our attention more on these things than our own particular needs. But if it gets to a point where a person's distracted, as we say, because he's thinking more about his body than the things he should be thinking about, then that's verging on the realm of almost perhaps a medical need, a psychological need. So again, to take a quick lukewarm shower, if soap is necessary to remove perspiration and dirt, and soap and shampoo is necessary for the maintaining a healthy scalp. So these things are permissible, but to try and minimize it as much as possible. Certainly, if a person doesn't need to take a shower every day, shouldn't be taking a shower every day. If he can get away with once every several days or whatever it might be, or just wait until he feels the necessity to take a shower, and then to take the shower. So that's I would say is the general rule here. Again, for Erev Shabbos, so Erev Shabbos, there are those, if there is as we do take hot showers every Erev Shabbos in general, as probably most people even take a hot shower every day. Really, it's according to some poskim, a person could take a warm shower even on Erev Shabbos, as long as they do it every Erev Shabbos, which is probably the case with most people. And again, if soap is necessary, soap is necessary. If not necessary, it's not necessary.
There's also another factor, Rabbi, and I'm not sure how it fits in, and that is pleasure. That you're not supposed to be getting pleasure out of this washing.
Right.
So that you have the pleasure factor and you have the instaness factor. Are they kind of balancing against each other, or are we just saying one overrides the other?
I think what you're touching on is the following: that obviously, after a person, if he's going into a shower and his in between his toes are itching him, and his underarms are dirty, and his scalp is itching him, obviously, when he comes out of a shower, he's going to feel thankful, grateful, and it'll be a pleasurable experience not having those things bothering him anymore, right? So,
Right.
so that's not the, as I understand it, that's not the pleasure that we're talking about. We're talking about the pleasure in the actual shower, the actual pleasure of having the hot water or bathing or whatever, the actual pleasure that a person has from the actual shower experience. The consequence, feel clean, which is a pleasurable experience, right? So I think that's the pleasure that we're talking about, because that's something you can't avoid, right? It's unavoidable. You're taking a shower because you don't want your body to feel dirty anymore, to feel uncomfortable anymore. When it's the body's now feeling comfortable, so that's a pleasurable experience, right? So
Right.
that's something which is a consequence which you can't avoid. That's the whole purpose of why you're taking the shower. Right? So I don't think that's the pleasure that we're really talking about here. We're talking about the pleasure of the actual shower experience. That seems to be the pleasure that we're discussing here.
Right.
Mhm.
So as long as you're doing it for the purpose of the discomfort, of removing this discomfort of the feeling of being dirty, that's the main thing. But you also have to try and avoid having it be any more pleasurable than it needs to be.
Right. When you're removing the discomfort by taking the shower, so the shower has to be done in a way that's as least pleasurable as possible.
Right.
Therefore, instead of taking a nice hot shower, you take a lukewarm shower. Maybe it's a little bit on the cold side as well, that you don't really enjoy the water so much, right?
Right.
And again, like the discomfort level that a person reaches that will allow him to take the shower. So that's depends on each and every individual. Like he should try and have that discomfort. That's part of what we're trying to experience here, that discomfort. Now, when that discomfort, in my personal opinion, when that discomfort becomes overwhelming and you find yourself dwelling and focusing on the discomfort more than on the other things you're supposed to be occupying your time and your mind with, so then you know, if it's distracting you from learning, it's distracting you, you're getting a little bit impatient, right? So those things are serious considerations, and therefore you can remove that discomfort and feel comfortable again. And again, that feeling of being comfortable is an unavoidable consequence of the shower. But that's not the pleasure that I think that they're referring to here.
Right. Okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and there's a have a minute maybe. You see, there's a small little Berura, a kafifos talking about shampoo. You see that there? Small little Berura. It goes on to the next page. In my edition, it goes on to the next page.
So if you wash your shampoo in here in hot water, Filu chal erev Shabbos shel chazon be'erev Tisha B'av, even if erev Shabbos chazon is erev Tisha B'av, like this week.
That's this week. That's this year.
And we
Right.
call makom b'zeh yizhor lechachil. You have to be careful in the beginning. Sheyeh kodem chatzos. You should wash before chatzos. B'di'eved gam achar chatzos shari, but it would be b'eved. It would be much even after chatzos. Sorry. But cost of linyan chatzos. You also say about chatzos. Erev Shabbos achar chatzos ein osen chatzos. That erev Shabbos, after Chatzos, we don't make Chatzos. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure also. But old Kosev, the Indian Chatzois, Sheb Erev Shabbos, Acher Chatzos, Ein Osin Chatzois. Kol Shekein Baruch Kodesh Av. Ein Osin Chatzois, Acher Yetziyom. I think this is something you do with the timing of when you make the chatzos. Is it chatzos the chetziyom or is it chatzos? I'm going to try and clarify this. I'm not sure what this last point is, but the main point was that lichatchila you should take the shower this erev Shabbos before midday. But
Okay.
if you didn't, you could still take it on
In the afternoon.
the afternoon, because after all, it is Erev Tisha B'Av, meaning it might be Erev Shabbos, but it is Erev Tisha B'Av, which is more serious in terms of the normal halachas. So, but again, if person didn't do it for some reason, whatever, he had a good reason why not, so it's permissible even afterwards. All right, if it stands, I'll try and clarify what that was meant in there. Okay, very
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Tomorrow. Thank you, well.
You well.